Hello, everybody. Broadcasting to you live from the Milky Way galaxy, the solar system, planet Earth, North America, the United States of America, east of the Mississippi. My name is Brian Engelman. That is Blake Walley. And today is Monday, August 12, 2024. My, oh my, how our lives are passing us by, oh by. This is the Agree to Disagree show here on the New American Media because the old American media has failed you. Thank you so much for joining us today on a special Monday episode of the Agree to Disagree show. Blake, this is highly unusual.
Well, I guess we got to rearrange some stuff. Brian's got some other obligations tomorrow, so we may as well push it for Monday instead. That's all good. Tuesdays tend to be very busy. I got 2 shows.
Ah, that's right. Toxically Masculine Tuesday. Tell them about that show, Blake.
I do a show with Mike Barra of Ancient Aliens and Dr. Brooks Agnew and Trail Boss Steve Doran. So, tune in for the fun. We cover the latest news and current events. Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Good times.
Awesome. Well, speaking of news and current events, obviously tonight, Donald Trump will be speaking with Elon Musk. I mean, very few people have had more of an impact on the globe, on planet Earth, than Elon Musk and Donald Trump. So we'll be looking forward to that conversation tonight. Maybe we'll unpack that at some point after. I'm sure they'll make news somehow. We'll just see exactly how that shakes out. A lot to get to. Let's talk about today's program, what we have scheduled here. Where did all my captions go? What just happened?
I moved and I switched to I thought I had a breaking news stinger, but I don't. I was going to...
Oh, you did that. Okay, I thought I was losing my mind.
I did, yep. A bad boy.
I'm losing my mind this time.
Right.
This time I'm losing my mind.
Right. I did want to put some breaking news on that. So Elon Musk has, come out, announced that he's going to have a Trump interview, and the EU has already threatened Musk over harmful speech. So,
well, actually, let me get to that. we have a bunch of things we're going to get to on today's program. What I want to do is I want to run through the stories that didn't make it to the top of the list. I mean, kind of bang, bang, bang. Go to the New American Media site at American_media_ on X to do some more deep dive into those topics. The topics we have in the stack today, we're going to talk about Joe Rogan. Is he a coward who's lost his mind because of RFK? Agree or disagree? Jesse Ventura, was he correct to endorse Kamala and Walz? Did he really? Jeez. Also, JD Vance, would he destroy Kamala Harris in a debate? Should we begin deporting at least 10 million illegal aliens? Tulsi Gabbard, does she deserve to be on a terrorism watch list? Should Americans be arrested for criticizing the UK on social media? Was it wise, and is it wise, to trust Fauci to protect us against COVID? And should Trump drop his lawsuit on the Department of Justice for the Mar-a-Lago raid? Those are the stories we're going to get to. However, there's a few more that we could get to. So let's begin with a lightning round, Blake. This here is the the footage from the salon. It shows an agent. There she is, whoever that is. I think it's a she. I don't know. I guess we're not allowed to. It says Secret Service.
Giving her gender, Brian. Dare you?
Gender's a construct. Let's go back to just discussing sex, male or female. Secret Service broke into a Massachusetts hair salon during a Kamala event. They covered the cameras with duct tape, broke inside to use the bathroom, let other attendees use the bathroom, and they took candies off the desk. They reportedly left the store unlocked and left the tape on for the rest of the day. Blake, I mean, don't we have what is it, our Third Amendment? Protects us against this type of stuff? What is going on here?
Yeah, it's a Third Amendment that's rarely used. Was important back in the day. It was quartering soldiers, right? So British soldiers would just, if they didn't have a hotel or lodging, they would just use people's homes. And so that was a bad deal back then. So, and they probably did stuff like this, trashing or eating all your candies and leaving doors unlocked and that stuff. The damn colonists. Right. So no, this is a big deal. I took it out of our stack because we just had so much other stuff, and I didn't really know how to frame this as an agree or disagree question. Because agree that Secret Service should be allowed to go into your business and use your facilities how they wish. Like thugs.
I think maybe it could be phrased as agree that with this Third Amendment violation, our government has officially gone rogue. Okay. We've lived our whole lives not really messing around with Third Amendment stuff. It's been First Amendment. Don't yell fire in a crowded theater. That's hate speech. I hate that you're allowed to speech. I don't think you should speech. Okay. And then the Second Amendment. That's a weapon of war. Yeah. Well, what if we're attacked? It's not for hunting deer. Okay, we've had these debates. Maybe the 10th Amendment with Edward Snowden and such about, we've seen some stuff with Guantanamo Bay. How far is it enhanced interrogation? Is that cruel and unusual punishment? We've gone into some realms, but we've never really messed with the Third Amendment. Maybe since Mel Gibson portrayed this in The Patriot, where you saw the troops quartering themselves in the village, just kind of helping themselves to whatever happens to be there amongst the citizens, Blake. I mean, would you agree that this...
Yeah, they couldn't use their hotels.com app to get a room at the Wyndham or what have you, the Holiday Inn Express.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, different times. But it's a shocking story. This is awful use of the Secret Service to just commandeer somebody's business, and then just they didn't trash the place, but they left a mess and they left their security cameras. To go, that's crazy that they did that, and then leave the security cameras off, taped up, and leave the doors unlocked. That's just sloppy, awful, and people should be getting in trouble for this. Absolutely,
they have no right. And this is the government that doesn't give a damn about you. They don't respect you. They don't respect their boundaries. They think they're above the law. Blake. This is absolute insanity. What else would you expect from the Biden administration that literally, apparently, seems to have put out a hit on President Trump to take him out in Butler? I don't know how else you could view the situation. It was certainly allowed to happen. And these are the types of Secret Service agents that we do have protecting people. They're completely violating personal property rights and God knows what else. If they're willing to do this with the cameras rolling, what else are they doing when they think they can get away with it? So, yeah, I
don't think they've been just used like that. And it's shocking that was something that they were trying to do. Are they setting a new precedent? I don't know why or how. And I think that the lady that ran the business was kind of they would have just asked me, would have been okay. I could have set it all up for them, had it there ready. They didn't need to basically break in. So
yeah, it's pretty much beyond comprehension. So that's a story to check out at American_media_. Once again, we're doing lightning round at the top, and then we're getting into the main stories.
And Brian, question: do you think you are being rude with your tattoos? I ask you that a lot. I'm just curious. Now somebody else is finally chiming in. It's about time somebody called you out, Brian. Are you being rude with all your tattoos?
I got a question, Blake. Is this the only podcast on air that has 2 or more people with a total of 0 tattoos?
That may be. Yeah, in the year 2024. Oh, thank God. What a nightmare that would have been.
Yeah.
If I had tattoos, Brian, they would have all been crazy heavy metal, quasi-satanic, dumb shit when I was 18 to 20 years old.
Oh, but luckily at 18 to 20, you can now lop off your working plumbing, right? That would have been a wise decision as soon as you could turn 18.
Puberty blockers, right?
Yeah. So that's part of it. Yeah, most people I know have tattoos, but I don't, and you don't. So there's that. Okay. I'm going to scroll through here. Lightning round. This is just a conversation I had with Gateway pundits Jim Hoft on election rigging, the Trump assassination attempt, in J.D. Vance's selection at the RNC. So check out that video. Luke shared something horrifying. This is modern warfare. This modern warfare is absolutely terrifying, and these guys are extremely lucky. Oh, it's not ours. It's down. And that's where it exploded.
Is that a drone he just shot in a moving vehicle?
Yes.
Wow. Pretty impressive.
I think he shot it 3 times. Got it, one more going down. Really good job, actually. I think he hit it at least twice. So, anyway, this drone warfare. Also hearing reports. I took reports about shipments of army dogs, of robot dogs being deployed, both in the United States and in the Ukraine area for warfare purposes. So I encourage you to go to Wrangler Star on YouTube. He discusses what the points of vulnerability are should you ever encounter a malicious demon dog coming at you. Blake, there's drones.
Well, we are off the rails already. We got a tight show. We're doing a lightning round, and we're going off the rails with some little side quests, Brian.
All right.
Oh, well, there's a cat turd. All right.
I was going to get your one thought on that about the demon dogs and the drones in the sky.
I wasn't prepared for that one. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know the context of any of that. I don't know if it's a video game, if that's real life, where it is, who it is, drone warfare, where did demon dogs come from? I know that they have some crazy robotics that are going to be used in warfare. And I don't know. You throw water on them or the EMF something. I don't know, Brian. It's
something to keep on the radar. Because it is happening. Russia has increased their, the Ukraine has increased their attacks now, and we're hearing about the deployment of all things. World War III is just about to pop off at this point. It feels more inevitable than it's ever felt, and just something to keep your eyes on. Okay, keep your eyes on this. Pennsylvania puts out something saying Pennsylvanians won't always know the final results of all races on election night. Any changes in results that occur as counties continue to count ballots are not evidence that an election is rigged. And it says nothing says you're about to rig your state's election like this tweet from Pennsylvania. Blake, are you concerned about this? Pennsylvania telling you exactly that they're going to pull the same bullshit they did 4 years ago?
Yeah, Pennsylvania's done it. And now that Witch Whitmer of Michigan is saying that they're not allowed to audit the vote after the night. So that's another red flag. Yeah, this is tyrants taking over.
Yeah,
that's exactly how they would do it.
We're in tyrant time. Talking about Minnesota, this Minnesota Democrat politician and his wife stole 244 Trump yard signs this summer, and they were both just charged with felonies. Is that fair, Blake? 244 Trump yard signs stolen from a Democrat politician in Minnesota?
Yeah, you know what? I mean, it goes beyond a prank. It's, you know, if you're doing one or two around the neighborhood, maybe you were drinking, you was stupid, and you were frustrated, whatever. Take a couple. That's an organized effort to take down 244. That's like an obsession, and these people have problems. Felony, I don't know, but they certainly deserve, punishment for that.
Absolutely, I would agree with you with that one. Moving on here, J.D. Vance is going back and forth with Tim Walz. J.D. Vance says, Tim Walz has supported taking children from their parents if the parents don't consent to gender reassignment. Tim gets on his high horse about mind your own damn business. Well, one way of minding your own damn business is to not try to take people's children away. Blake
should not be able to take people's children away from them.
And that's not what he's proposed.
If you disagree with...
That's not what he proposed. Okay, it is. Thoughts on J.D. Vance? Are you enjoying some of this back and forth? And Tim Walz, the further implosion of perhaps the worst vice presidential candidate pick of all time? Any thoughts on Walz or Vance?
No, I appreciate him getting called out. I do like J.D. Vance. He's very transparent and very aggressive, and he's handling these mainstream media hacks very well. Like what I'm seeing so far.
Speaking of hacks,
and I'm curious, when should California see some financial benefit to this transformation to renewables?
Well, I think we have.
That wind, the water and solar.
Why is my electricity bill so expensive, Newsom?
Down.
It's
the
not.
cheapest form of energy right out here. This technology.
Yeah, he's been out there
had a
cleaning,
significant impact
trying to clean up
on what you
homeless
don't see.
encampments, and
Our
really
nation
trying to
leading climate
revamp his
policies.
image, Blake. I
also
bet
had a
he's
significant
pretty
impact
pissed
of
that the Democrats
rebating
bailed
customers,
on
including
him.
$146
Do you
for
think
business
Gavin
people
Newsom
to
still
go
has a
out
future in the
on
Democrat
average to
Party, or as a
customers,
white man,
millions and millions of
he's already hit
customers
his glass
through our
ceiling?
cap and trade program to offset
No, I'm sure he still has some
our
clout.
nation-leading
Yeah, he's
energy
not as
efficiency
marketable because they've kind of
program.
backed themselves into this corner of trying to get more diversity on the ticket no matter what. But yeah, but California is not doing well either. So he might be a liability in a certain sense, but he's a darling of Pelosi. And he's smart, even though he's a liar.
You're right, a smart liar like American Psycho. Yeah, right here, speaking of a place that's not doing so great, they're not doing so great in Great Britain. Yet another riot. Sure, this try to extradite me. Please don't retweet for your own safety. I guess, do we still have that in the stack for today?
One of Brian's favorite investigative journalists, and I'm not quite sure why. He does put out some interesting stuff, but he's some mysterious person with a stormtrooper avatar. I don't know why you trust that one that much.
Well, I guess we'll get to the UK social media story a little later because that is in the stack, but they are threatening to go after people that will point out that the riots are getting out of hand and have been out of hand since their country has been taken over. We do have Fauci in the stack, so I'll skip past that one. This is a report saying that Crooks was training to shoot a rifle for a year at the same place that the FBI and DHS held their trainings, and the FBI didn't feel the need to disclose that. It had to come from Grassley's office. Again, how is this not the biggest story in America right now? That's
because some very powerful people would be held accountable, and there'd be people that should be hanging for treason, perhaps, because it looks like the FBI was completely involved in this and helped orchestrate and steer this young man, Disturbed. And yes, they were out shooting, and there's a lot of FBI connections there from where he was in Arizona shooting weapons, or whether he had some contact that was when he was in DC, some correspondence. And of course, the shooting's got the day of has got so many holes in it, and there's new body cam footage with the cop. It's just like they allowed this thing to happen. There were some actually good cops that were trying to say something, and it's like there was a deliberate stand down. They wanted this to happen, and now the Secret Service. It was bad enough with the FBI was compromised and the CIA, and now it's the Secret Service.
Yeah, we're in trouble. By the way, they're asking, who is this person? This androgynous-looking person here, the Secret Service person that broke in.
That could be your future wife someday, Brian. You need to be more mindful.
I will try to be more mindful. I mean, she's
super cute. You never know.
Well, all right. This report from Gateway Pundit says FBI is withholding Trump assassination records. Dig into that story. This one is Nick Sorter reporting. Vegas police released audio transmissions proving Biden had a medical emergency before he dropped out. And the regime has been working for weeks to cover this up. That would line up with what Laura Loomer had reported and others. Appears to be from Daily Beast. I will.
Officers coming to Valley. We're going to meet
here we go
behind the ER entrance where the ambulances go. There's a little cul-de-sac back there. You'll see me.
Well, I'll let you go ahead and dig through this. You know, in the age of AI, Blake, you have to take any sort of audio transmission with a grain of salt. How do you decipher when you would believe something or be extra skeptical of it? Once again, this is being reported on Daily Beast. Nick Sorter talking about going down to the Valley Hospital in the ER and when Joe Biden allegedly had a medical event that really pushed him out of the race.
Sorry,
how do you decipher reports like that?
They are fully decked out in red.
Well, I mean, they're obviously going to try to cover it up. There's a medical emergency with the president. So, yeah, something happened in Vegas, and that's kind of when things took a turn. So, whether he was flown to some hospital in D.C. immediately after that, I don't know. You're saying he had bad guacamole? Yeah, but I mean, something happened. We all know it. I don't know if Loomer had the right goods, that he had an emergency on the Air Force One. I don't know if that was related to the Vegas thing, but clearly his Biden's health has been failing, and they've been actively covering up problems.
Here, I'll turn this one part up here where they specifically mention POTUS.
You know what's helping us out with this Frago on the POTUS movement? If you can monitor Event 8 channel.
So they're monitoring the POTUS, President of the United States movement. So anyway, check out the audio. Just wanted to deliver that to you and direct you back to at American_media_, where even though we only put 6 to 8 stories per show, there's a lot going on. Elon put this out, and it is worth noting that our founding fathers themselves published anonymous satirical newspapers lampooning English politicians, and the Crown responded by trying to kill them. So as we would say, some issues are fairly argued as beyond the intent understanding of the founders, but this ain't one of them. Blake, this gets to anonymity on the internet, and of course it's what's happened with the UK and threatening to take down Elon. We'll get to that in just a moment here, but this is the European Commissioner threatening him. We'll skip past that. Couple other things here. Well, let's just Babylon B. The FBI raid on Melania's closet was justified, says Merrick Garland, wearing gorgeous new evening gown and sun hat. Also, well, there was a plane that went down and there were some doctors involved. It's a story to dig into. Context is already being added in multiple places, but just take a look at that.
The Brazil thing, is that what it says? Is there community notes on the Brazil plane crash?
Yes, they're saying that the man in the video is Leonardo Ferreira, assistant professor of microbiology and immunology. They said the man who died in the plane crash was Professor Jose Roberto Leonel Ferreira, who was a radiologist. So we'll continue digging into that story. But, we see things, we share things. It may or may not be entirely accurate. So something to keep an eye on. And then finally, I just wanted to mention that the acting Russian regime governor of Kursk, Alexei Smirnov, informs Vladimir Putin that around 121,000 Russians are fleeing from the battles in Kursk. According to him, 28 settlements have fallen to the Ukrainian advance. So there appears to be a major push occurring here. A lot of propaganda coming out, a lot of war room videos appearing. But then Putin says there will be no more peace talks with Ukraine. What is there to even talk about with those who attack civilians and nuclear facilities, Blake? Any thoughts on what's happening here with this obvious escalation in Ukraine with Russia?
It's too bad. I thought there was going to be a breakthrough potentially. Even Zelensky, I heard, was talking about making peace agreement. But yes, looks like Putin has pulled away, at least according to those statements. And one of those things that was criticized about Putin was that he was this madman who was just going to tear through Ukraine and then go through Europe. And no, he's been very, very cautious of the way that he has gone about his invasion of Ukraine, and has been very, very careful about avoiding civilian casualties. So, and yes, it seems to be Ukraine and the United States who are running the proxy war against him. Seem to be more problems there. They blew up the Nord Stream pipeline. They're not being honest about tensions and the way that they have violated agreements. And this war could be ended very quickly if they would just, redivide those lines on Ukraine and let Donbass and Crimea be part of Russia, and just let Ukraine be neutral, and we could be done with this stupid thing.
Yeah. Yeah, it reminds me of the Dean scream. We're going to go to Michigan. We're going to go to Indiana. And we're going to go to the White House. Wah! That's kind of what they've always been shrieking about with Putin. He's going to go to Belarus. He's going to go to France. He's going to be in your backyard. Rah! It's like, based on what? This is the dumbest argument ever. Anyway.
They've been pushing for war with Russia for a long time. That was one of the big fears with Hillary winning in 2016.
But then what did she do with Uranium One, giving them all those nukes? Or are we about to find out when Iran, air quote, Iran, wink, wink, detonates something? It's the Russian supply, and it went to Iran. And anyway, we'll see how that shakes out. All right, final tidbit before we get into the actual news of the day. This came out earlier today. I don't know if it will be discussed on the program tonight with Elon Musk, but it bears repeating. Just want to go through these real quick because for anyone that wants to tell you about what's it called? Project 25. Just go to Trump's actual plan. The actual Trump plans. They're very different. Go check these out. There's 20 of these. Pretty straightforward, pretty basic. Tell us if you agree or disagree with any of those. We won't go through them all, but they are all on the New American Media site at American_media_. All right, that was the lightning round. Let's jump into today's show. All right, Blake, agree or disagree? How did you feel about the lightning round in the beginning? Half and half.
We always say lightning round, and it ends up dragging a lot longer than a lightning round. I don't know.
Okay, Blake has mixed opinions. All right, back to this one. Agree or disagree, Blake, that Joe Rogan is a coward who has lost his mind regarding RFK Jr.?
I am going to disagree, although there is issues. It is surprising that Joe Rogan did endorse RFK Jr. And Brian, did you see the latest Netflix special, his stand-up?
Yes.
And what did you think? Yeah, okay.
Did you love it? Was it
before or after his endorsement of RFK?
Before.
Oh, okay. You didn't think? I thought it was really good. I liked it a lot. What didn't you like about it, Brian? Is there anything that stands out?
What did you? Let me just ask. What did you love about it?
I thought it was pretty funny. I without going into all of it, I don't remember all of it necessarily. I watched it Saturday night, but I laughed quite a bit. I thought it was funny. I thought he made up a lot. Went into some interesting subjects, and I thought it was, intelligent and funny and amusing. And I thought it was overall pretty good. And I'm kind of. I don't like a lot of the recent stand-up stuff. I like the David Tell things. Usually I'm not that underwhelmed on some things. There are some comedians that are pretty good. I thought Joe Rogan has gotten a lot better as he's gotten older. I didn't like some of his older stuff, but I think he's come a long way. But he's certainly been under fire, and people are very critical of his endorsement of RFK. As a lot of people like, Cat Turd, been very outspoken, just really hardcore going after Rogan for not being on the MAGA bandwagon.
And it's been said. I believe I've watched Rogan himself discuss the situation that Trump has multiple times reached out and inquired about trying to have a conversation with him on the show. Now, I was in a conversation with somebody about this, and someone said Rogan never said that. So if I saw something that was AI or manipulated, all right, maybe I misunderstand it, but I thought he said, I don't like Trump and I don't want to do anything to help him. And the fact that he won't even engage him in a conversation, but he'll put crazy Bernie Sanders on his program, that's chicken shit. That is absolute bullshit. Someone who's allegedly one of the prime voices in talk media, in long form conversations. I'd kind of be curious. I think the world would kind of be curious to hear that conversation between both of you. No one's saying you can't push back. No one's saying you have to endorse him. But how about have the conversation? The fact that you keep denying that conversation from happening, it's kind of weird. To borrow a Tim Walz phrase, it's pretty weird to me. Why wouldn't you have that conversation? What's wrong with him? What's wrong with Rogan? What? I don't get.
I would agree with that. Right. I don't know why he won't have Trump on the show. Just if he doesn't like him, fine. Just ask him tough questions. Ask him whatever you want. I mean, Trump wants to do it. You're going to get kick-ass ratings. Not that he is driven by all that. He's got enough money and enough ratings. But yeah, if he's going to have RFK on the show or other people on the show, I would assume Biden's going to decline, or Kamala or Tim Walz. But if he can get any of those people, he should. And he should owe it to the people. And he should meet all of them before he gives an endorsement. But he also mentions in his stand-up that you shouldn't, take his advice anyway. But then why is he endorsing somebody? That's a big thing. Like, what?
Yeah, what's that all about? He's actually He's actually endorsing RFK. That's very different. That's not staying out of it. That's being actively engaged.
Right. Yeah. So he's definitely trying to persuade his audience to go in a certain way. So he's telling you one side, oh, why are you taking my advice on, COVID or what have you? I'm just a guy. And then why is he all of a sudden, well, I want you to know that I'm going to endorse RFK, who's, I like, and I'm glad he's running, but it does not stand a chance. And I would like to see them, join forces. RFK join Trump. That puts him over the top.
Let me scroll through this. This is USA Today saying that Joe Rogan is now denying endorsing RFK Jr., but that might not matter to Trump. Rogan drew the ire of President Trump after he commended independent presidential candidate RFK Jr. during an episode last week, which led many to believe that it was an endorsement for Kennedy. Shortly after, Rogan criticized Democrats and Republicans for misleading voters and called Kennedy reasonable in an episode of the Joe Rogan Experience. Thursday, he quickly denied that it was an endorsement of Kennedy. For the record, this isn't an endorsement. This is me saying that I like RFK Jr. as a person, and I really appreciate the way that he discusses things with civility and intelligence. I think we could use more of that in this world, Rogan wrote in a post on X. So maybe, Blake, maybe he didn't actually endorse RFK.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure. I just saw the outrage. I just saw the cat turd tweets, and I was kind of specifically referencing one. Let's pull this one up from this is a Brendan Dilley. It says, fact, the new Rogan stand-up is dog shit. He's flat out not funny and has horrendous timing as a comic. Fact, Rogan is a pseudo-intellectual who endorsed an irrelevant junkie because it was a safe play for his career. We have a word for this, coward, which is where I came up with that. And of course, Cat Turd here, he's a moron, blah, blah, blah. People are disappointed. Sean Farad, that has always been the case with Rogan. So yeah, just people, it was a big pile on, down with Rogan. And it was surprising, but I mean, I don't know. I don't know what's worse. And then people are talking about, oh, we shouldn't be infighting. And why are people taking this so seriously? So I don't know. It's kind of divided some of the space.
Well, I don't know that it's infighting. Rogan's not on your team. Rogan right. Has not been on with MAGA. Rogan has not been fighting the Democrats as hard as he could be. It's one thing to pleasure yourself with one hand and pat yourself on the other back, take your other hand and pat yourself on the back with it. That's got to feel great from both hands, right? Oh, wow. But voting RFK or voting Bernie doesn't do anything when they're not one of the top two opportunities. It's either 4 more years of what we've seen with Obama, Biden at the helm, or it's completely reversing course on some of the worst policy changes we've ever seen as a nation at a time where we are teetering on the brink of insolvency, teetering on the brink of identity. I think it's time to take a stand, Rogan. I think it'd be time to get off the fence. RFK Jr. is not a real vote at this point. You're either voting for more Obama, Biden, Harris, or you're voting against Obama, Biden, Harris. Make it a referendum on them over the past 3.5 years, the vaccine mandates, the open borders, the crime, the nonsense, the globe on fire because there's no leadership or competency anywhere. Yeah, I think it's time to pick a side. and trying to, I don't like Republicans or Democrats. There are times to do that, and there are times to get down to brass tacks and vote against the worst thing. And I'm sorry, if you don't know what's the worst thing between Trump and Harris, then Rogan, you ain't black.
All right. Well, fair enough.
To borrow the turn of phrase from Joe Biden, of course. If you don't know,
right,
or you ain't black. So
yeah, no, it's weird because Donald Trump shows up at all the UFC events.
Yeah,
Dana White endorsed him.
Yes,
Joe Rogan won't have him on his show.
It's weird.
But at the same time, I wouldn't agree that his stand-up is dog shit and that he's flat out not funny and has horrendous timing as a comic, or that he's a pseudo-intellectual.
I think some of the timing critiques are fair because I've been doing more.
Now Brian's the expert on stand-up comedy and timing and delivery.
I've been going to comedy clubs for the past many weeks in a row as I'm putting my set together. I fully intend to get on stage immediately as soon as possible and start doing my 4 minutes and working on them. I've been studying as many specials as I can. And is off. I thought his story, his special this time, I don't think it was as good as the one where he jumped up on the chair and he was imitating the Kardashians. That was probably Vegan Cat, the one with that in it. I think that was Rogan's best. This one did feel kind of flat. It did feel like the timing was off. I didn't love it. And I read similar criticism of it before I watched it. And that was way before he allegedly endorsed RFK Jr. or not. Let me wrap this up here.
Yeah, maybe I was high. I don't remember. Well, I was high and I don't remember all the jokes, but I remember laughing a lot.
It was okay. There were some moments. I don't know. It just, there's favorites and then there's not. Sometimes you have sushi, sometimes you have hibachi, sometimes you get pizza. Every now and then, Kentucky Fried Chicken. So maybe Kentucky Fried Chicken isn't, not the number one thing I think of, and it's maybe not my favorite. It's not the worst. I don't hate it. I just don't go to it. I don't think about it as much. I don't think it should be in the top 10 things to go grab for a bite of food. But that's my personal take on Rogan, and part of that might be because of my interaction with him when I met him and engaged with him. I didn't find him to be, but I separate the person from the art. I still like some Michael Jackson songs, for the love of God. Anyway, let me just finish this up here. Trump predicts the MAGA response at UFC, as you were talking about, Blake. Rogan continues, I also think that Trump raising his fist and saying fight after getting shot is one of the most American effing things of all time. I'm not the guy to get political information from. If you want that from a comic, go to Comic Dave Smith. He actually knows what he's talking about. I don't know. Rogan does this dumb. He plays dumb, kind of like Norm Macdonald. I don't know. I'm not that smart. It's like, yeah, you're one of the smartest people in the room. Stop. Like, that doesn't work on me. It's such a deflection. It's that more than anything else is chicken shit. Just, I don't really know. You want someone who knows what they're talking about. Yeah, you do. Stop it. Don't pretend you don't know what you're talking about. You do. You just have powerful forces at Spotify who have, and Netflix, who have you under a really tight thumb. They got you right where they want you. You're paid very well. But you know not to rock the boat, and it's very transparent. Anyway, while Kennedy welcomed Rogan's support with open arms, writing in a social media post from one legitimate guy to another, thank you. Fired back on Truth Social saying, it will be interesting to see how loudly Joe Rogan gets booed the next time he enters the UFC ring. MAGA 2024, Trump wrote. Rogan is also the ring host for UFC events throughout the year. Blake, do you think there's a possibility Rogan could get booed by the UFC crowd now?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, there's definitely a lot of, cult followers for MAGA. And, I'm not saying that this was a good decision by Joe. I think he should have just stayed out of it. But, yeah, he'll get plenty of time to explain himself, and he always does. And I'm sure he'll announce that before the next event, and they'll find some way to bury the hatchet. But I think the best way to do it is to have Trump on your show. You have to be fair like that. So now you've pushed yourself into that corner. Now it's time to, come out swinging. Let's see it.
By the way, Frankie Brown saying they have a cool comedy club at the White Squirrel. Thank you for that. Where is that? Where is Frankie and where is that? The White Squirrel.
She's also in Kentucky, Brian. So I don't know. somewhere around your backyard.
Hey, all right, good times then. Yeah, then I have a couple of comedy clubs now. I hung out with some of the comics and learned where, like, you go perform on one night and then you're done. Then you go across town and you perform at another club at a later set. There's probably even another one that I'm unaware of. I'm starting to learn how it goes. I'm like, I could easily handle 4 minutes on stage. It's just storytelling. If you have punchlines, that's ideal. But communication, that's the name of the game. You grab a microphone and talk, and I do that for 2.5 hours a day. So it's not too much. Anyway, down here, this is kind of funny. After claims of the RFK Jr. endorsement spread, Rogan posed with comedian Shane Gillis in an Instagram post, who was dressed up as Trump for a live recording of the Kill Tony podcast in New York on Saturday. Ran into Trump. Everything is cool. Rogan captioned the post. Blake, did you see the Shane Gillis and Adam Ray, Donald Trump and Joe Biden Kill Tony episode from a couple of weeks ago?
You told me about it. I saw parts of it when I was in Louisville there, but I didn't go any further than that. No. But yeah, it was funny. That was good stuff. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you got to check that one out. It's a pretty good one. Anyway, dig into the Rogan thing. He endorsed or he didn't endorse. He probably didn't endorse, but whatever. Ashley saying, have we read all Trump's federal indictment and actually looked at all the evidence they have against him? Or is that too terrifying a notion for us to even consider? Yeah, I mean, it's total kangaroo court. It's absolute banana republic bullshit. It's election interference and it's civil rights abuses. It's something that should land Joe Biden, Barack Hussein Obama, Hillary Clinton, Kamala Harris, all of them in jail for treason. No, I'm very aware. It is terrifying. Blake, what say you?
Yeah, it's terrifying. All the lawfare. And that's one of the other stories in there is Trump perhaps suing the Department of Justice for the Mar-a-Lago raid. So I think that's also pretty serious. So, yeah, the way I've seen that lawfare tactics used against Trump and a lot of BS, no, I don't think it's that terrifying, and I don't really read legalese, but I'm always interested to cover it.
Dreamer Ultra here is saying 100% Joe Rogan gets booed at UFC. He knows what he did. He knows what he did. Now rub his nose in it. Okay, anything else to add on this one before we move on, Blake?
No, I guess I was going to show, here's Brendan Dilley talking about it. If we want to cover that.
But if you give this guy any more credibility by watching and listening to his absolute fucking stoned out drivel, then you deserve to have him backstab you. I've never actually listened to a Joe Rogan podcast episode. I've never done it. I've only ever seen clips like the one I just played you guys, because since I was about 22, I've known that Joe Rogan isn't funny or interesting.
Okay, well, I think I take offense to that, and I'm not a big fan of Brendan Dilley. I don't know. He's somewhat popular. He's got the Dilley meme team, and they do a good job with stuff. I think he's like a talking monkey. I think he's super annoying. I don't like his show. I'm not going to watch his show. I think he's an idiot. But I also can relate to Joe Rogan's previous, old material, where I used to think he was like the second coming of Joe Piscopo, like some just dumb jock, and I didn't think he was that funny. Then later he did, the Man Show with Doug Stanhope. That wasn't.
God, you forget that he did the Man Show.
Yeah.
Like, that's such a side note.
Right, but he continued to get better and better. And I thought his last stand-up, maybe I'll have to watch it again, but I thought the last one was really good. So I thought it was, it's a disingenuous attack to say that he's bad. And, I haven't really watched him in like 15 years, but yeah, he's a coward and his stand-up is dog shit. He's not funny and his timing is horrendous. Like, but I haven't watched him in 20 years. Like, what kind of shitty opinion is that? So, people were criticizing that as well. I guess he was going after Rogan as well as Tim Pool. But yeah, it's the typical, the infighting here. And it's these different groups and factions. You have the hardcore, like Trump MAGA cultists, unwavering. And then you have people that are, also support Trump, but, don't necessarily just go along with everything. So I don't know, Brian.
Yeah, that's fair.
But Rogan, I think he's going to be more pro-Trump, and maybe if RFK can somehow join the Trump team, I think that's a win-win, and we can get everybody on the same page. And I'm not even trying to criticize Brennan Daly. I don't like his show, but he's an effective communicator. He's got his own niche. He's got his own audience, and that is great. So I think overall he's doing good. He's not my thing, but I don't care if other people go listen to him. But
yeah, this is the place where I met Rogan at the Improv on Melrose, and it was right near that picture. I don't know how I ended up on this one. Oh, actually, I'm showing you the wrong picture. But yeah, it was right around here, right before he was getting ready to go on. No, I don't want a cookie on here. Jeez, I can't even show you the picture. Right there. Right around here where I met the dude. But
okay.
yeah, it wasn't a particularly funny set that we caught, but the comics, they're always working on their material, right? Like they're always
well, yeah, try new stuff. Yeah,
it wasn't all that great what I saw in person that one time either when I met him. So anyway, I separate the art from the
right.
Art.
How long ago was that? How long ago was that? When you met Joe Rogan and saw his set in person?
Yeah, 20
years ago. Yeah, it was
no, not 20 years ago, like 2014, 2016, 8 years ago, 10 years ago.
All right.
It was when I was living out there, and I haven't been there in 5 years, so it's been a couple minutes, but not that long. Anyway, like I said, I separate the artist from the art. So anyway, all right, moving on to the next one. All right, how about this one? Speaking of endorsements, since the Rogan one wasn't actually an endorsement, but glowing things were said, and he's too scared to have Trump on his show. Rogan, step up. Blake, agree, disagree that Jesse Ventura is correct to endorse Kamala and Walz?
This is another shocker. I don't know what happened to Jesse Ventura over the last several years. He's gone completely off the rails. He was such a rock star. 10 years ago, 24. I don't remember exactly when the timeline for the show on True TV, the conspiracy theories with Jesse Ventura, but he was killing it, and he was outstanding. He was one of the frequent guests on Alex Jones. Yes, he was just great in many capacities, but weirdly like social, very anti-Trump, and it's shocking to see him going after these criticizing the MAGA cult. Is this up here? Let me grab this. Let me pull this tweet up so we can see it. So he's saying, ask yourselves this question. He's another one that went under fire, much like Rogan. Ask yourselves this question. How bad can Donald Trump and his cult of Republicans be if they can drive a true independent like me to endorse the Harris-Walz ticket?
What specifically does he dislike? Did he give you anything specific? What does he dislike?
I'm not sure, but I've seen these things before, and I don't know if he still does the. I haven't kind of phased out of Alex Jones, so I haven't really kept up to date with that. But I know like some of their interviews, the later ones, kind of went off the rails, and it was just like Jesse is not the same person he used to be. Not saying he's compromised. Maybe they've threatened his family. It seemed like there was a time where I truly believe that they wanted to smear his character. Like he was a big threat to the establishment at one point, potentially going to be running for president. And then they had that controversy with Chris Kyle, the Navy SEAL. He's a sniper Navy SEAL who got killed. But he put out that story about how we beat up Jesse Ventura in a bar, and it was manufactured. That
was weird.
It was weird. And then all of a sudden, Chris Kyle gets killed at a gun range by some PTSD army dude.
MK Ultra candidate, like a
20 it seemed like
Pennsylvania.
Right. When they didn't get the narrative and what they wanted to accomplish, they decided to just, off him instead. Once that lie got exposed,
I apologize.
They wanted to destroy Jesse Ventura, and they basically tried to kill him politically. When that didn't work, they killed this highly regarded assassin, like an American hero. It was awful story, and they buried it. And then all of a sudden, he just became this wacko socialist. I don't understand what happened to Jesse Ventura. Maybe they've threatened him or his family. If they're willing to go that far and to try to, destroy his career by getting Chris Kyle to write about him in his book about some manufactured event that never happened, who knows what happens? And he's also talked about when he became governor and he had to go sit in the room with all these like CIA people wondering how he won. Like, he was a huge threat back in the day, and now he is gone. He's irrelevant, and he's destroying his legacy by these stupid tweet like this.
Yeah, you did just remind me of something, and I want to get right back to it. At the top of the show, I was supposed to do this, so let me let me jump back in and do so if I can navigate this here. It's acting kind of strange. Let's try. I'm going for this one. There we are. Okay.
Hello.
Something I was supposed to do at the beginning of the show. I want to do it real quick. Especially now that Joe Biden. Okay. I want to say this off the top. I want to say a quick prayer for the protection and the well-being of President Trump, his campaign, and Kamala Harris and her campaign. Especially now that I've seen Joe Biden seething about being forced out of presidency. I feel like he would have an incentive to get rid of Kamala. I feel like the Seth Rich and Vince Foster, Hillary Clinton style situation, similar to the Obama chef situation lurking over Kamala's back, makes it very dangerous for Kamala Harris to be where she is, where she could perhaps be worth more to the deep state off the board than she is on the board. So please continue to provide both of those candidates and their team with the most protection possible to get us safe through this dominant Trump blowout in 2024 in November. Amen. So whatever you may pray to. I just wanted to say that because I had that thought, and especially now after seeing Biden being so upset about losing his spot. Blake, did you catch the Biden interview?
Yeah, I did see parts of it, or a couple of the highlights.
Yeah, he didn't seem very happy, did he?
No, he's been kind of a grumpy, angry old man for years. But yeah, it wouldn't be. Obviously, that's embarrassing to be shoveled out there when you're on the top of the world. You've reached the highest level, and now your own people are telling you to step down.
I would be curious, though, to just see what Jesse Ventura, what policies does he like about Obama, Harris, Biden? Is it just the strict libertarian? I don't want borders.
Yeah, it's strange positions that he has.
If you don't want borders, that's your team. But I mean, you're in Minneapolis, you're in Minnesota. Look at what happened with the squad because you had no limits on immigration. You're right up against the border with Canada that's completely lost their minds, and all the fentanyl spilling in from Mexico coming north. So I just, for the life of me, I don't understand where Jesse's coming from. I mean, he's got the right to endorse whoever he wants to, but yeah, I lost respect in that regard. This is such an obvious election to me. It's not even remotely close what needs to happen in 85 days, however many days it is. I don't know. Rogan and Ventura, they're off in the deep end, I suppose.
Yeah, so it's causing some issues amongst the base.
Kamala Harris is now Kamala Harmas. Nice one, Jonathan. Nice. It's like we got some more joke tellers in here. I like that. Yeah, Ken can't be in every show. Thanks, John.
Well, it's the Surprise Monday show. We're usually here Tuesday, Thursday, so
that is true.
We move things around at the last minute, which is fine, but not having the usual regulars.
Yes, but it's good to meet new regulars. All these new faces, new comments. We love it. This is the Agree to Disagree show on the New American Media. If you like Blake, follow him. He's at TV's Blake Walley and The Next Level News. And check him out tomorrow on Toxically Masculine Tuesday with Mike Barra in all of the places. Okay, next topic. We may eventually need to take some new photographs instead of always, maybe just some new photos to cycle through. Maybe a few more headshots that we can.
Well, remember that in the field because we need to have 5. We have 3 templates that we use over and over and over. 4 is not going to be good because if we only do 2 shows a week, then there's going to be the same templates on the exact same days. So we need an odd number. So we'll have to do 5.
13, probably.
13 at least. All right.
Blake, agree or disagree here that JD Vance would destroy VP Harris in a debate?
100% agree.
Oh,
it's too bad she's running as president and he's VP because he is going after her and he has went after her in Wisconsin last week. So he's out and he's trolling her about the plane that he wants, Air Force 2.
That's pretty funny. That's pretty great. It's like, this will be my plane. I intend for this to be my plane soon. It's like, oh yeah, let's go.
And unlike her, he has been open to talk to the press, even hostile press. You showed part of it, with John Carl, ABC, and we saw another one with CNN's Dana Bash, who used to be married to one of the 51 intelligence agents.
Yeah.
Also all these awful hacks fees. The professional corporate, what's left of the legacy media trying to smear their opposition, but it was not working because JD Vance is a pretty smart guy who was well prepared on these things. So on these interviews, he's sparring with ABC's border czar Kamala Harris's dangerous open border policy. We can run a quick clip of that.
Proposals, it's in the platform. You've talked about it. Trump's talked about it as a mass deportation. Now, I know he said, you'll start with the easy ones, the criminals, people commit crimes, deport them. But he said deporting 15 to 20 million people. How do you actually do that?
Well, John, we have to start with the fact that we have a wide open southern border because our border czar actually set a lot of open border policies. They suspended.
She's not actually. She wasn't the border czar.
Oh, that was what the media called her.
Hold on. Wait.
Wait,
Blake, hold on. What did this guy just say? Did he just try to lie to you right to your face that Kamala was not the border czar? Is that
that's what they're doing now. They're gaslighting people. Right. They can't just be honest about it. They have to gaslight because they can never be wrong. They're in that position. They're up here and we're down here and they're the media and they decide and they're always right and they're never wrong. So and even when they are wrong, they're going to sit there and they got to play that game. And Dana Bash does the exact same thing. So I don't even know if we should run this particular clip or not because I think that's also one of the questions about the deportations. We can also get back to that. We don't need to really run necessarily anymore, but it's great to see that JD Vance can do the hostile interviews with people that are trying to trip him up and make him look bad. Right. Now, Kamala has refused to do a debate on Fox News, and you sure as shit ain't going to see her talking to a Brett Baer or a Gutfeld or a Jesse Waters or anything like that or a Hannity. But we did see, it's destroying CNN's Dana Bash.
You've now asked me 3 questions about comments that I made 3 years ago. Uh-huh. I wonder what Kamala Harris thinks about the fact that she supported policies that open the American southern border. I wonder what Kamala Harris thinks about the fact that she lied to the American people about Joe Biden's middle facility for the office. You are interviewing me, Dana.
That's wild. Might I request you rewind it to the very top? I want to see why she feels the need to interject there, where she says, I'm doing the interviewing. Ooh, the appeal to authority there.
Interviewing Kamala, right? But watch when she actually does have an interview with Kamala, and watch how the softball questions and a totally different tone when and if that actually happens. But here we go.
You've now asked me 3 questions about comments that I made 3 years ago.
Uh-huh.
I wonder what Kamala Harris thinks about the fact that she supported policies that open the American southern border. I wonder what Kamala Harris thinks about the fact that she lied to the American people about Joe Biden's middle facility for the office. You are interviewing me, Dana, because I respect the American people enough to sit down for an interview.
I appreciate that.
Kamala Harris has been the nominee for 3 weeks. She hasn't sat down for a real interview.
Believe me, we are asking. You're not going to get a disagreement.
Well, they're asking.
We are asking.
Yeah.
You won't even go on your friendly softball network. They're doing the same. Keep Joe Biden in the basement strategy. They're trying to keep the Kamala Harris as the generic Democrat option. Oh, I'll vote for a generic Democrat over Trump. No. You need to get to know the specifics of who Walz is, who Walz pretends to be and who he isn't, and who Harris is and who she isn't. Like, you have to get to the bottom of this.
Yeah, I agree. And that's why I wouldn't have to agree with that question as well. That, destroy Kamala in a debate. He is not afraid. And Kamala clearly likes to be completely scripted, and she struggles when she's off script. And then she has these awkward laughs, and they're going to have to do a lot of editing to protect her image when and if she does these interviews. But so far, she's been ducking everything, and she's kind of been in the background for 4 years, even with Joe Biden bumbling, mumbling, stumbling, looking for talent, and Kamala's nowhere to be found. Or when she does show up, she seems like she's drunk and she makes awkward statements.
I really like how what's his name? Michael Malice, how he described her as America's wine mom.
Right.
A little too. They've rebranded the mindless cackling as joyful. Did you catch that?
Yeah. Oh yeah, another buzzword. So it was weird, and then mostly for weird for Vance and Trump, and then yes, now it's joyful. They're a joyful group. Oh, are they?
Yeah, when everybody's 5 Chardonnays deep at 1:30 in the afternoon on a Tuesday, I guess you do become a little more joyful.
Sure, that bottomless mimosa brunch. It's always a good idea.
Yeah. So J.D. Vance would destroy Kamala Harris, although Vance is going to have to go up against that Tim Walz unless Walz and Harris are removed, or we'll see what happens. They haven't accepted their nomination yet, so let's just wait and see how this plays out next week. But all right, so that's Vance and his willingness to jump in the ring with anyone. Did we sufficiently cover deportation of 10 million illegal aliens? We covered that, or do you have anything more there?
I'm trying to think. I'm not entirely organized here, but I guess that's where I was going with it, but I blended it all together. Sometimes they do that. But yeah, I might as well just cover it since we're on the subject.
Sure.
And that would be, the logistics of going 10, 15, 20 million people out of the country. So we can continue with that clip.
She had control over a lot of our border policy at a time.
What was the causes of the migration?
Look at Jonathan Karl. Keep trying to distract. Because he can't take the loss there. I know, but he can't possibly look weak in front of his audience. They can never admit, because that's their thing. It's a big con game. They're never wrong, and all the people that watch their fucking bullshit actually continue to believe them because they think they're always authoritative and correct, but they're not. They've gotten a lot of stories wrong over the years, but that's just another one.
Hold on, Blake.
Right.
They want to go after Alex Jones because he went hard in the paint on one particular story. When are you going after MSNBC and CNN for 20 of the biggest stories of the past 10 years that are intentionally wrong and deceptive?
Yeah, I agree.
Miss me with the unequal enforcement of standards when it comes to reporting the news. Give me a freaking break.
Right. Yeah. Jonathan Karl should be on the stand taking, questions, from a lawyer. Yes, he should be held accountable for the lies that they've told on their network, and he won't get the chance to interrupt like that. So let's watch him squirm.
The time they were suspending deportations, they stopped Donald Trump's Remain in Mexico policy, and they reinstituted catch and release. They basically threw open the gates of our country, and now we have a ton of fentanyl, a ton of people suffering.
But how are you going to get 10 to 15 to 20 million people
Well,
out
the
of the
first
country?
thing you have to...
They don't want to take responsibility. Yeah, like that was a bad idea. That was bad that the administration let in, 10 to 20 million illegal aliens just fucking around on the border and pretending like there wasn't a problem. So, no, there's no crisis. I don't know what you're talking about. They played dumb on it. Now when they're called out, now they have to constantly deflect or change the subject.
Because, Blake, they want to get driver's license. They want to get ballots automatically that are never going to go to that person, and they're all going to end up voting Democrat. They've found a way to monetize, to digitize, to quantify illegal aliens getting a driver's license, to get a ballot, to sway the national election. Governor Glenn Youngkin actually figured it out and said paper ballots only. I'll tell you what, you want this illegal alien invasion to stop? Go to paper ballots. Then they won't have the cheating apparatus.
Right. And none of this mail-in bullshit.
Right.
So, all right. Well, how much left in this clip? We're about halfway through it. Do we want to continue?
I do want to do it. I just want to say what Youngkin did. Executive Order 35, codifying the election security procedures put into place. This is for Virginia, Glenn Youngkin. The Virginia model for election security works. This isn't a Democrat or Republican issue. It's an American and Virginian issue. Every legal vote deserves to be counted without being watered down by illegal votes or inaccurate machines. In Virginia, we don't play games, and our model for election security is working. He said it codifies election security procedures put into place during his administration, including stringent ballot security, complete with thorough counting machine testing and best in the nation voter list maintenance. We use 100% paper ballots with a strict chain of custody. We use counting machines, not voting machines, that are tested prior to every election and never connected to the internet. We do not mass mail ballots. We monitor our drop boxes 24/7. We verify the legal presence and identity of voters using DMV data and other trusted data sources to update our voter rolls daily, not only adding new voters, but scrubbing the lists to remove those that should not be on it, like the deceased, individuals that have moved, and non-citizens that have accidentally or maliciously attempted to register, Governor Glenn Youngkin continued. That's the way you run a state. That's the way you run an election. Anything else would be uncivilized.
Yeah, no, I agree. That all makes sense. That's perfect common sense. That's the way it should be. That should be the standard. But, oops, I typed that in the wrong spot. Kenneth has joined us. Sorry for the last minute schedule change. Brian couldn't go Tuesday, so we decided to go today. But I'm glad you could make it. Oh, okay, Brian put that on the right.
Copied and pasted, yes.
Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's clear that they've have this kind of open-ended so that they can take advantage of the system. And if that they were worried about, like, well, what if they don't allow mail-in ballots? What if they clean up the dirty rolls? Oh, we'll just have the open border and we'll just grant amnesty to 10 to 20 million people all over the place, harvest their ballots, and have them vote. And,
yeah, Kamala's going to get, what, 250 million totally legitimate votes this time?
Yeah, probably, yeah.
2% more in every swing state? Like, enough. Right. No, we're not doing it. Stand down, deep state. We hate you. You do not have the consent of the governed. Stand down.
Yeah, I agree. That's the way it should be, but that is not the way it is. And yes, it's sad that it is that way. But yes, it is too much at stake here for holding the reins of power. It's now these people are just enriching themselves. There's too much. There's too much corruption. It's a broken system. And this is why everything. This is why we got to get Rogan and just I don't know about Jesse Ventura. He might be a lost cause. I don't know if he's swaying anything anymore. He's not anywhere near as relevant as he was 5-10 years ago. So, but Rogan is an important endorsement. If we can get that and get RFK to join the Trump ticket, get him a cabinet position, join forces. Let's
sooner the better.
This one
sooner the better. Unless RFK is going to pull a lot more people away from the Democrats. in which case, have at it. Who knows? It's hard to figure out. Is it going to be a Ross Perot effect? Without Ross Perot, George Bush gets his second term, and you might not know who Bill Clinton is. Imagine how things just because Ross Perot jump in as his third party. Now, wait a minute.
He had a great chance, and I think it was the Republicans that really sabotaged him and went after him.
Yeah, the Bushes. Of course they did.
Evil.
They wanted their CIA asset in the office. And they'll do anything to make that happen, as you know. If there's a little bit more to play on this, play the last part, and then we'll move off this subject.
Okay. Where is it? How about right here?
Have to do is to stop the bleeding, stop the open border, get Kamala Harris out of there, and actually re-implement the Remain in Mexico policy, rebuild or finish Donald Trump's border wall.
Yes.
And you do that and you stop the bleeding. Now, you're right. Once you do that, once you stop Kamala Harris's open border policies, you've got to do something with the people who are already here. And I think that you take a sequential approach to it. You are going to have to deport some people. If you're not willing to deport a lot of people, you're not willing to have a border when there are 20 million illegal aliens in our country.
10 to 15 million people, this is like,
Well, John, I think that's the wrong attitude to take of it. Okay,
so you go knock on doors and ask people for their papers.
Again, but I think this is the wrong attitude.
So you're like Nazis?
20 million people here illegally.
Is that what you're going to do? You're like Nazis?
Well, it's amazing. They've allowed this problem, didn't call anything out, and now we're just supposed to, oopsie, I guess they're already here, so that's fine. I guess we'll keep them. I mean, it's insane. Logistically, the thought of trying to deport 15, 20 million people is a massive undertaking, and I think we should be able to probably keep at least half, but maybe they're not going to be allowed to have voting rights for 10 years or something. There's got to be something done. But any of these criminal people should absolutely be deported. And there's plenty of good people that could stay. They just can't be used by the globalist, the Democrats or even the Rhino Republicans as some kind of voting base to swing things in their way and destroy our democracy. So that's bullshit. Or there should be something that should be done for people. I don't think even Socrates in ancient Greece, in Athens, in the heart of democracy, didn't think that most people should vote. And he would use an example of like if we were all on a ship and we were out at sail, and if we had a vote, would we want people that have no idea about sailing or navigation, would we want them to vote as their vote is just as equal as the captain or the crew member? No, there's a lot of people that should have to pass like a basic civics test and know what the fuck they're talking about, know how our government works before they're allowed to go vote. They're being used by, the Democratic Party. They're just trying to dumb everything down and just say, vote for us and you get free shit. Or whatever, you get to stay in the country. That's all that they're doing right now, and that's they should not have equal votes to the people that have lived in this country, or served in this country, or any of that stuff. So it's insane the way they're setting things up, and they are going to absolutely destroy this country. We'll never be able to vote it back in. There's nowhere else to run, so we have to make our stand here. It's crazy.
Yes.
Anyway. All right.
Finish up this part with him.
Do that, and then you go on to what's achievable from there. I think that if you deport a lot of violent criminals, and frankly, if you make it harder to hire illegal labor, which undercuts the wages of American workers, I think you go a lot of the way to solving the illegal immigration problem. But look, President Trump is absolutely right. You cannot have a border unless you're willing to deport some people. I think it's interesting that people focus on, well, how do you deport 18 million people? Let's start with 1 million. That's where Kamala Harris has failed, and then we can go from there.
Okay. So if they find some nice people and they're hard workers, they've embraced America and our culture, and fine, they can probably stay. Give them their visa or whatever. They don't have voting rights for 10 years. Something like that. because they came in illegally. They came in the wrong way, but if they're good and they're productive and we want to keep them, then we could. I think a lot of those people could be kept. There are probably a lot of good people in there. But then, they're just letting like military-aged men and, Venezuelan gang members. Like, this is fucking insanity. So all those motherfuckers, they got to go.
If there is an actual labor shortage in America, you run the biggest and most impressive vetting procedure of all time. You don't just open up the door and let anyone run through your store. That is insanity. It's like you leave for the night, you prop your door open, you leave your lights on and your music on, and you just, hey, I'll come back tomorrow, see what happens. No, you don't do that. You vet everybody that comes through, so you filter out the most poisonous, toxic, criminal element that you can. And you should be prioritizing based on ability. Are these exceptional people? Are these people of unique ability, intellectually gifted, bright, well recommended from the places they've been? You don't just hire people into your company without checking the checking what is that called? I want to say resources. Your on your resume. What is it like? References. I was going to say resources. You check references. Is this person a good person? You don't just let everybody run through. You open the gates to Disney and let's just let society figure it out. No. Let's not do that. So anyway. Okay. Well, we're talking about our government doing stupid things. Let's talk about some more of that. Well, this is a woman who's given her life, I believe, 21 years to serving our great country. And what does she get for that pleasure? Well, Blake, do you agree or disagree that Tulsi Gabbard deserves to be on a terrorism watch list?
I would say disagree. That's an outrage. It's an outrage that she's on one to begin with. So I'm not even sure if I'm going back on memory on the details. So I don't know if it was like Ukraine said it. So we're taking like the most corrupt country in Ukraine or in Europe is saying that she should be on a terrorist watch list. Oh, okay. So then what do we do? Oh, okay. Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Or we tell them, no, fuck off. This is America and this is our own citizens. So mind your own damn business. Thanks for the suggestion. But I mean, what would she actually do to get on a list like that? Number one, or is it they allowed it because she absolutely destroyed Kamala on stage during the debate, and perhaps really made a good setback on her career and exposed her, but for the fraud that Kamala was. So that's probably part of the administration too. Or is it Obama? I mean, it's some combination that they decided to. Yes, they're going to put Tulsi Gabbard, who has no business being on a terror watch list, and there's precedent. And if Kamala wins, then what happens to Tulsi Gabbard? She's going to have to go, flee to Hawaii or some other country. Is she going to be persecuted because she was critical of the administration? So that's pretty disgusting stuff. So here she is under TSA watch list surveillance via Federal Terrorism Investigation Program. Federal Air Marshal whistleblowers allegedly reported, yes, Tulsi's on the terror watch list under surveillance by the Quiet Skies program. Yeah, because she's a threat. Give me a fucking break. So, several Air Marshal whistleblowers. Program aimed at countering terrorism within the United States. So shouldn't they go after people with like severe criminal records that actually are terrorists? Or is it just going to be anybody that they don't want because they don't like their politics? So it's also been targeted at January 6 defendants. It operates by surveilling airline passengers deemed to be suspicious. So allegedly in the Gabbard's case, this includes her unknowingly being monitored by 2 explosive detection canine teams Really? They actually thought, oh, she might be hiding what do they call improvised explosive IEDs. So one transportation security specialist who's an expert in explosives, a plainclothes TSA supervisor, 3 federal air marshals on every flight she takes, just in case she decides to commit a terrorist attack while in the air. I mean, this can't be happening here in America. There's nothing there's nothing she's ever done that should trigger this it's absurdity. And they know it. It's all theater. It's political theater. This is a political enemy. I mean, this is something that should never happen in the United States. And I don't know what else to say about it. Brian, your turn. You talk about.
I have thoughts on it. And I think as we're bringing it up, let's just, since they're trying to take her out, let's remind people why this is happening in the first place. This is when Tulsi took Kamala out.
It's not running.
See a single solitary time she brought a case against them to desegregate them. Secondly,
that's fine. I'm
rewind.
Police officer did people.
If you're trying to find the right spot, hang on. This doesn't appear to be what I searched for or what I had. Tulsi Kamala video that I did not ask for Biden. I'm looking. Oh, there it is.
Well, I was going to say, meantime, I can read this because we do have a follow-up that Representative Tim Burchett of Tennessee demanding answers from the TSA about the watchlist, so that there's people fighting on her behalf, as they should. I mean, this is like a brave act in these crazy days of this dystopian tyranny that we've turned into here in America. But don't worry, Jesse Ventura wants to have Kamala and Tim Walz.
Yeah, maybe Jesse Ventura has a brain worm impacting his judgment too. Okay, this is the reason why they hate Tulsi Gabbard. This is why we love Tulsi Gabbard.
I want to bring the conversation back to the broken criminal justice system that is disproportionately negatively impacting Black and brown people all across this country today. Now, Senator Harris says she's proud of her record as a prosecutor and that she'll be a prosecutor president, but I'm deeply concerned about this record. There are too many examples to cite, but she put over 1,500 people in jail for marijuana violations and then laughed about it when she was asked if she ever smoked marijuana. She blocked evidence. That would have freed an innocent man from death row until the courts forced her to do so.
That is unconscionable, blocking death row evidence from someone.
She kept people in prison beyond their sentences to use them as cheap labor for the state of California.
That's called slave labor.
And she fought,
just like her family lineage,
to keep cash bail system in place that impacts poor people in the worst kind of way.
Thank you, Congresswoman. Senator Harris, your response.
Bravo, Tulsi.
As the elected Attorney General of California, I did the work of significantly reforming the criminal justice system of a state of 40 million people, which became a national model for the work that needs to be done. And I am proud of that work. And I am proud of making a decision to not just give fancy speeches or be in a legislative body and give speeches on the floor, but actually doing the work of being in the position to use the power that I had to reform a system that is badly in need of reform. That is why we created initiatives that were about reentering former offenders and getting them counseling. It is why, and because I know that criminal justice system is so broken, that I am an advocate for what we need to do to not only decriminalize, but legalize marijuana in the United States.
I want to bring Congresswoman Gabbard back in. Your response.
The bottom line is, Senator Harris, when you are in a position to make a difference and an impact in these people's lives, you did not. And worse yet, in the case of those who were on death row, innocent people, you actually blocked evidence from being revealed that would have freed them until you were forced to do so. There is no excuse for that. And the people who suffered under your reign as prosecutor, you owe them an apology.
Senator Harris.
Well done. That's why the regime hates Tulsi Gabbard, and that's why we love Tulsi Gabbard, Blake.
Right. No, she did a fantastic job. And that could have prevented Kamala from taking over as president instead of Joe. So she was like the darling of the media from that beginning until Tulsi destroyed her on stage. And then we realized how corrupt and unlikable that Kamala was. But then they ended up picking her as
and she was the first one to drop out. She didn't get a single vote. She's never had a single vote and a single delegate.
Right.
Talk about failing upward. A mediocre candidate. You know, there's that phrase that John Fugelsang said about mediocre white men. I don't know where you get so cucked that you're going to say something so insulting, but so be it. But yeah, talk about a mediocre candidate who's never had a single vote for delegate fail upward into the vice presidency and the nomination allegedly to run the country. Kenneth, why does Kamala remind me of Howdy-ho? Howdy-ho. Tulsi, we'll see. Mr. Hanky, the Christmas poo. Okay, next topic. Well, right there, that is the new intro for the new American media, because the old American media failed you with a battle scene where the American flag is taken down and it's replaced with an upside down flag to symbolize a nation in distress. We led today's program showing you how the Secret Service is just commandeering and quartering themselves inside of hair salons and leaving the door wide open, covering up your camera and eating your food. We're in another situation at a country that has fallen. I know it's fun sometimes to razz the UK, but this is getting serious. Canada's fallen. Mexico's a narco state. England is upside down. Like you said, Blake, there's nowhere to run to. There's nowhere to escape to. At some point, you do just have to draw a line in the sand and push back on whatever little is you have. And that's what we're finding over in the UK. Frankie says, Tulsi for president? Yes. Several people I know were the biggest Tulsi fans you would ever find. I've always appreciated her like I appreciate Thomas Massey. Very rarely are they incorrect on almost any issue. They're north of 90% batting average. That's almost unheard of. Whether that's 99% or 91%, they get almost everything right. So yeah, Tulsi for president would have been interesting. Blake, do you agree or disagree that we should arrest Americans for criticizing the UK on social media?
No, I think we should arrest some of these UK officials that think they have the audacity to arrest us
or threaten us. Even the threat of kidnapping us should be a criminal offense. That's a threat of kidnapping us. That is from a governmental official. That's an act of war, Blake.
Oh yeah, no, that's why we have the First Amendment here. Is because of the guys like that
and the second
out of the UK. Right, we're going to do our own country. We don't have to deal with that bullshit.
That is
we're going to say what we want. You're not going to be able to come into our homes. You're not going to be able to do search and seizures. We don't give a shit about your guy wearing the crown. We don't care about your monarchy or your parliament. So we're going to set up our own republic. And yeah, these clowns can deal with it. And we fought a war over that. And we're going to fight another war if they try to do anything about this. So the UK has got some major problems, and a lot of it's self-inflicted. I can't believe they elected this clown. We got a few stories I can pull up. UK authorities now arresting people for posting inaccurate information. That's in the UK. I'm going to try to get that to come over to the United States as well. Net police chief threatens keyboard warriors with terrorism charges. We will come after you. They're calling it inciting riots, even if they are living abroad. I guess this is Sir Mark Rowley made the comments in response to waves of rioting that unfolded across the UK following the murder of 3 young girls. People are getting tired of all this, their illegal immigration as well, going after their citizens, while the police and the government don't seem to do anything about it. So, says, what are you considering when it comes to dealing with people who are whipping up from behind a keyboard? And maybe it's a different country. That was a question a reporter asked Rowley. And this is also, yes, it was new Prime Minister Keir Starmer. They're asking why aren't the communities protect Britain? But the answer here from Raleigh says being a keyboard warrior does not make you safe from the law. You can of incitement, of stirring up racial hatred, and there are numerous terrorist offenses regarding the publishing of material. All of those offenses are in play if people are provoking hatred and violence, at least according to him, on the streets, and we will come after those individuals just as we will physically confront on the streets the thugs and yobs who are causing the problems for communities. So they're even saying that even retweeting information about riots could lead to criminal charges. So those poor people do not have the Second Amendment like we do here.
You never give up that right ever, never, ever. An encroachment upon that is the preceding step to something like this happening. You're not allowed to speak, and if you do, and we don't like what you say, if your name's Tulsi Gabbard, we'll threaten you with kidnapping. That's not okay. That's a criminal regime that needs to be removed. When in the course of human events it becomes necessary. Oh, it's become necessary.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's Nigel Farage fearing political, of his own way, political persecution. Prime Minister Keir Starmer poses biggest threat to free speech in British history. I don't know how much time I have, but this is pretty bad that it's getting to this point, and now they're going to be coming after people for putting things on social. So, bad news. And then Elon Musk has been very vocal about this. Yes, UK police commissioner, threatens to extradite and jail U.S. citizens over honest will come after you. So there is a threat. And you got to wonder if Kamala was, if she gets power, they probably would, they'd probably comply. I'll be like part of this, New World Order, World Economic Forum. What do we got? Scott Pressler, if you don't want Kamala to allow foreign governments to come after us while illegal aliens are allowed to break in the country, better vote for Trump. Tom Fitton, also Biden-Harris gang successfully asking D.C. courts to give January 6 defendants longer sentences for nonviolent social media posts, raising questions about 2020. Yeah, this is really bad news. But, hey, Jesse Ventura is okay with it.
Seriously. Rogan, too. Rogan can't bring it to, he can't bring himself to even ponder Trump to stop this madness.
Right. Well, I don't think RFK would put up with this shit either, but he's got no chance of winning. So,
right. Yeah.
Voting for him, you're throwing your vote away. Let's see. Yeah, there's a lot of people. Yeah, of course, they're trying to brand anybody. These protesters are always far right extremists.
Yeah, there's no such word. I'm never going to use the term far right in my lifetime.
Right. And this is the lightning round for me because I got to run here. Elon said, the Brits gave up their guns and now the government puts them in jail for Facebook posts. Absolutely. And last one. Yeah, you watched The Hunger, sided with the Resistance. You watched Star Wars, sided with the Resistance. The Matrix, Divergent, V for Vendetta, all sided with the rebels and the Resistance. When it's fiction, you understand, but when it's the reality you're living in, you refuse to see it. It is wild. It certainly is, Brian. I don't understand it.
I don't.
Watch it in horror. Go through this epic shit show.
Yeah, I don't get it either. This one was another funny one. European Commission, dear Mr. Musk, blah, 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 the Digital Services Act, in the respect where discrimination, moderation, formal proceedings against X under the DSA. Let me clarify the negative effect of illegal content on X, copying Linda Yaccarino, CEO of X. And the response to this from Elon Musk, to be honest, I really wanted to respond with this Tropic Thunder meme, but I would never do something so rude and irresponsible. Take a big step back and literally fuck your own face.
That's pretty awesome. That takes some balls to go out and, say that. So, all respect to Elon.
The energy right now that we need because these people can go. their faces, these tyrants, can go away.
Yeah.
Okay, Blake, you got to bounce in this 10-second realm, or do you have to tell us about these last two?
All right, what else we got?
So you
Real
tell
quick.
me. Fauci. Is it wise to trust Fauci to protect us against COVID? Agree, disagree. It's wise to trust Fauci.
As it turns out, no, it was not. Should not have believed him. But yeah, Dr. Fauci, he's infected with COVID for the third time now. Well, I will give him credit. I didn't know he actually took the jabs or not. So, but he's been jabbed and boosted 6 times.
Like he said what he said. It doesn't mean he did a damn thing.
Right. Yeah. I want evidence of this, that he actually took his own cocktail. But either way, he's gotten it 3 times now. And yes. And that's after 7 jabs? That's insane.
Sounds effective.
Telling you that doesn't sound very effective. No. And then we can switch that over to YouTube. Of course, my channel's down because for medical misinformation, even though I was reading somebody else's tweet questioning the efficacy of these delightful jabs. And now former YouTube CEO Susan Wojcicki, or whatever her name is, died at 56. Was it lung cancer? Or was it maybe also something to do with the jabs? We don't know. It's too bad. She's a tyrant. So I'm really not, I don't know. I'm not vindictive or anything.
I'm vindictive because that person played a crucial role in destroying the new American media's YouTube presence. I take it very personal.
Okay.
I'm not going to dance on her being gone. I'm not going to really speculate on whether it was a turbo thing or whether it was just a simple lung cancer, whether it was self-inflicted or I don't know. But yeah, very few people have gone so far out of their way to ruin my livelihood and reputation and earning capability. That person was right at the top of that list. So
Google should be rated. We had the good guys on our side. They should absolutely.
Speaking of being rated, Blake, Trump's
right.
lawsuit on Department of Justice for the Mar-a-Lago raid.
No, he should continue this. He's going for, $100 million? Could be even more. Yeah, it should be like $1 billion or one of these cartoonish numbers. But they had no reason to do that. None. They had plenty of time to get these classified docs if they thought they were so important. It wasn't like he's refusing to hand them over. This escalated beyond what it should have been. Armed agents. They could have been a firefight between the two teams. I mean, this was a disaster, but it's clearly like they wanted the optics and they wanted to make it look like, Trump was this awful guy and that he couldn't possibly run because he's a criminal, but it backfired. And and it turned out that Joe Biden was doing much worse things with classified documents. And he wasn't allowed to have them. Trump at least was, whatever they were, but it wasn't necessary to do what they did. And now they should be sued. So good on them. Glad they're following up. And we'll see if people are held to account someday. But I don't know. Not sure how this is all going to unfold, Brian, but we'll find out in the next 90 days.
We will. And I would sue him for like $2 billion to try to recoup the kangaroo court judgments in the other cases against Trump.
$100 billion. Yeah.
$1 quadrillion. Blake has to run out the door. Tell everybody where to find you and where to stay connected in between now and our next show, and tell them about your show tomorrow, please.
Yeah, please follow me on Twitter at TV's Blake Walley. The archive is on thenextlevelnews.com. I guess we won't be doing a show tomorrow because we did one today, but I will be doing the Toxically Masculine Tuesday with Mike Barra, Dr. Brooks Agnew, and Trail Boss Steve Doran. That would be tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. You can follow that on Twitter, I guess, or following Mike Barra or Rumble. There's plenty of places because we'll be on multiple outlets. So check that out. And thank you. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, everybody. And we'll look forward to doing this, I guess, Thursday. We'll see.
Sounds good.
All right. Good times. Thank you, everybody.
Everybody, TV's Blake Walley. Follow him on X at TV's Blake Walley. And if you'd like to donate to Blake and help independent journalisming, He's on Cash App, $Blake W99, $Blake W99. It's in blue right there on the screen. If you wanted to help the new American media, there's a couple places you can go to do such things. I swear we had... Well, there we are. If you'd like to contribute to the new American media, and by the way, thank you to everybody who has. We literally took some of the funds that were donated to go ahead and get us to the next event that's coming up. We will tell you when we tell you. But thank you. Literally funded a chunk of the next trip, the next excursion, to go get content and to go meet people and see what's happening on the ground. Brought to you by viewers like you. So thank you so much. Anyone, if you want to assist the New American Media, we're on patreon.com/the New American Media and on Venmo at Brian Engelman. That's BrianEngelman. Really quick, if you're on Rumble and you're not subscribed to us, click on your Rumble account and type in The New American Media. Hit subscribe. On YouTube, The New American Media. Click for notifications and subscribe. Spotify, our podcast, The Agree to Disagree Show. Truth Social, we are The New American Media. Patreon, we got Patreon back up. We are The New American Media. Also, Facebook, we have a page, The New American Media, and a bunch of groups, private groups. Search TNAM for The New American Media and find TNAM Humor, TNAM Food and Drink, TNAM Preparedness, lots of TNAM groups. And when it asks, how did you find our private group, say Brian sent you. Do that. On X, we are at American_media_. On Instagram, The New American Media page. Odyssey, ODYSEE, that's our backup to YouTube. Everything we put there is duplicated onto that channel, which is good because we've already had YouTube take a couple of videos down for no good reason. No good reason. Yeah, they might have reasons, but they're not good reasons. Of course, we said Patreon, trying to get locals up and going, trying to get subscriptions on X, a bunch of things in the works. And of course, if we ever get lost, go to thenewamericanmedia.com. I definitely have to make some updates on that channel, on that page, but it is the one that I fully control. And I do anticipate bringing it back for sure. GoFundMe. No, not yet. I don't have a GoFundMe for this. I should probably set one up. Why not? Yeah. Yeah. Meanwhile, Joe Biden had his documents under his Corvette. Yeah. See, that's totally fine. Selective enforcement means that there is no justice in the country. Selective enforcement means that you've lost control to tyrannical powers. Selective enforcement means you're in a kangaroo court, banana republic style dystopian nightmare, a hellscape. That's what I'm asking Joe Rogan to make a decision on and vote against Biden Harris. That's not by wasting it on RFK. That's not to say RFK Jr. is a waste. It's to say Donald Trump is the competition. Vote for Trump this time around. This is the time to actually vote for Trump because you have to vote against Harris and Biden and Obama. Where the deep state is taking us, there is no coming back from. We can't undo it. Yeah, I'm asking you people to get off the fence. Hold your nose and vote Trump if you want. Just do it and vote against Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, Barack Hussein Obama. Quartering troops. The Secret Service just breaks into a salon and takes candy and leaves you an upper decker. Okay, that feels like tyranny to me. These other countries on the globe, they're threatening to come after Elon. They're sending people to take out Trump. Like there's a global game of chess occurring. And it's time to step up and play. You need to recognize that you're being played. And there's a time to cast an ideological ballot for a Ron Paul, maybe even a Gary Johnson. 2024 ain't it. Nope, 2024 ain't it. Make it too big to rig. Make this the biggest blowout in American political history. You have to send a message. And I don't think there ever was a Kamala bump. I don't think there ever was, it's neck and neck in the polls. Americans trust Kamala Harris with the economy more than Trump. What? No. Bullshit. No. Make it too big to rig. Get off the fence. All right, everybody. I'll be back. But the reason I told you all those different platforms that the New American Media is on is because I really want to connect with you there, because I'll log for, I will go trolling. I'll go searching and fishing for good stories, and we'll send out a bunch at the top of our feed on Instagram, usually in the morning, sometimes in the afternoon. And the Agree to Disagree group on Facebook. Man, it's nonstop sharing stories and the back and forth conversations with regulars. You get to know the people and their arguing styles, their debating skills. On X is maybe one of the best platforms along with Rumble out there. But we just put different things on different platforms, and we just really need to be connected with you at this time, because it's never been more important. If you're only following us on YouTube or something, or Facebook, that could disappear in a heartbeat. So please connect with us in the other places. We'll be back on Thursday if we're not able to do one on Wednesday. And on behalf of Blake Walley, everybody here at the TNAM Radio Network, here at the New American Media, I appreciate you. I love you. We'll talk to you again soon. Take care.
Ah.